Justice Department reverses course on claims Guatemalan children's parents sought their return. This article is by Zach Montague and read by an automated voice. Lawyers from the Justice Department on Wednesday abandoned a claim they had made in court as they sought to deport dozens of unaccompanied Guatemalan children over a holiday weekend, that they were doing so at the behest of the children's parents. In federal court in Washington, government lawyers conceded that they had no evidence to support the contention that the children or their families had hoped to reunite in Guatemala, a claim that had been repeated by senior Trump administration officials last week. The admission came after lawyers representing the children produced a report by the Guatemalan Attorney General's office that included interviews with 115 parents refuting the idea. The hearing on Wednesday came in a case initially focused on more than 600 Guatemalan children who had entered the United States without a parent or guardian. The Trump administration had planned to hastily repatriate dozens of them on flights over the Labor Day weekend. During an emergency hearing to stop the planes on August 31st, lawyers representing the children told Judge Sparkle L. Suknanen, a Biden appointee who received the case during the holiday, that many feared for their safety in Guatemala and were doing everything possible to stay in the United States. Many of the children, their lawyers argued, were loaded onto planes despite pending immigration proceedings and without any chance to challenge the repatriation. The children have been in the custody of the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Refugee Resettlement. During the Labor Day weekend emergency hearing, the Justice Department insisted the government was working with Guatemalan authorities to reunite families that had been torn apart and acting on the wishes of the parents. The United States government is trying to facilitate the return of these children to their parents or guardians from whom they have been separated, said Drew Ensign, a lawyer for the government. Senior Trump administration officials echoed those claims. Stephen Miller, a top aide to President Trump and the architect of his immigration policy, said on social media last week that the children had been orphaned, and after Judge Suknanen's ruling that a Democrat judge is refusing to let them reunify with their parents. During the hearing on Wednesday, Judge Timothy R. Kelly, a Trump appointee who has now been assigned to formally oversee the case, grilled a Justice Department attorney about the Guatemalan Attorney General's report. The report cited 115 relatives contacted by Guatemalan officials who uniformly disputed that they had requested the return of their children. It mentioned one group of 50 parents who said they would welcome their children home but had hoped to see them stay in the United States. Another 59 rejected, sometimes in an intimidating manner, officials' attempts to reach them, the report said, because they believed their children had been cleared to remain in the United States and refused to encourage their repatriation. It should be noted that in one of the reports, the parents stated that if their daughter were to return, they would do everything possible to get her out of the country again, because she had received death threats and therefore could not live in this country, the report stated. In sworn declarations filed in the case, several Guatemalan children said they faced neglect, violence at the hands of gangs or racial discrimination, and wished to remain in relative safety in the United States. Judge Kelly noted on Wednesday that the Guatemalan government had been unable to locate a huge chunk of the parents, and among those they did locate, none had requested that their children be returned. So I guess my first question is, you don't contest what that report lays out? He asked the Justice Department lawyers. Sarah Welch, a Justice Department lawyer, told Judge Kelly that the government had no better information than what was contained in the report and therefore would withdraw its claim that families of the children had requested their return. I don't have anything specific that I can refer to contest the Guatemalan AG's report, so that's no to that question at this point, Ms. Welch said. Lawyers for the children asked Judge Kelly on Wednesday to create a class encompassing children of other nationalities, whom they argued the Trump administration had similar plans to repatriate. In their lawsuit, the lawyers representing the children said they had evidence that the agreement with Guatemala was a pilot program that the government hoped to replicate with other countries. The lawyers also asked for a temporary halt on deportations of any unaccompanied children in a similar position until the court could address the legality of the plan. A spokesman for the Justice Department declined to comment about the government's position, referring questions to the State Department. In a news conference after the hearing, Efrain Olivares, a vice president at the National Immigration Law Center, said the government had shown it would do whatever necessary to expel migrants, even in cases involving children. That is remarkable to me, he said. The government keeps changing their story.